A lot of people showed interest in the wholesale watch price episodes that I've been doing, so I wanted to keep that going. But I did want to show you that some watches, the difference between our cost, the dealer cost, and what we are able to provide it to the market is so slim that the profit margins are really not there. This is when we rely on quantity rather than quality, meaning we have to sell a lot of watches to make any money. Let's get right into it and talk about some of these watches. There are a couple in here that have obviously bigger margins, but I wanted to give you an example. The first one is the Batman, Rolex Batman. This is the GMT-Master 2116710 BLNR. This comes on an Oyster bracelet. A recent offering was a watch with card, so no booklets, no box, but this is dated 2016, so obviously it's a little older. The retail price on this watch was $9,200 from an authorized dealer, and the current, price that we are being offered this watch for is $14,000. Now, this might be high. This is one of many offerings that we get on an average day, but this is, again, a solid dealer offering on a chat. This is public to everybody, so they typically wouldn't put out a price that would just, embarrass themselves. Obviously, they leave room for some negotiation. The current market price on this watch is about $16,000. If you're buying it for $14,000, you're going to be selling it for about $16,000. Obviously, after processing, shipping, service, anything else that, again, 2016, we have to put it through our service. This watch would net us a couple $100, and this is why we move a ton of Rolexes, because the profit really isn't there when it comes to some of the hottest models that everybody wants. The next one that I have is Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15510 ST. This is the 50th anniversary watch. This was recently offered to us. I don't remember if this one came through one of the chats or a Facebook group that we're a member of. Now, the Facebook groups are, private groups. Some of them are actually very public and have thousands, if not tens of thousands of members. So if anybody is watching and they're interested in seeing these prices, you could join one of the Facebook groups. This watch was offered to us at $42,500. It is complete. It's dated 2022. The retail price on the watch is $26,600, and the current market price on the watch on the pre-owned market is $49,000. So again, assuming we buy it for $42,500, put it through servicing. Let's say we're at $43,500. We sell it for $49,000. That's the sort of margin that we can make on this watch. Obviously, it seems like, a lot would make, $6,000, $5,500 on this watch. You have to take into consideration that our rent is about, 8 times that. So there are obviously different categories of dealers. We're in that, high-end category. We're not high-end. I'm saying it wrong. How can I explain it? We're in the larger, class of dealers. We have higher overhead, but with that comes the credibility of who we are and what we've built and why we employ all these people and why we have such a big location and why we spend so much money on our marketing, on our content, on everything that we do to make sure that that credibility is transferred with every single, watch that we sell. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is Rolex Datejust 126300 blue dial. This is on a Jubilee bracelet. Was offered to us at a price of $10,000. This one is complete slider, dated 2023. Probably, very close to brand new. Now, there was some mentioning of hairline marks on a buckle, but that's, could just be from handling. Assuming, let's just for shits and giggles say this is priced as new. This would cost us $10,000. The retail price of this watch is $8,050. And the average market price for this watch right now is $11,000. Now, I know Watch Charts is showing right now $9,900 or $10,000. I tried to find one for $10,000 and I couldn't. Assuming there's room for negotiation both ends. We negotiate with a dealer from $10,000, we bring it down to $9,500, and instead of selling it for $11,000, we sell it for $10,500. Very possible, even very likely. Think about it. After everything, $500 to $600 profit margin on a $10,000 watch. I mean, we're at that 5 to 6% mark. That's kind of where we land with most of these Rolexes. Another Rolex, we have the Rolex Yacht-Master 126621. This is the two-tone rose gold with the stainless steel and chocolate dial, offered to us at a price of $14,500. Current market value on this watch is $16,000. Now, this specific one that was offered to us is watch and card, does not come with booklets, does not come with a box. It is a slider, dated 2021, so 2 years old. Retail price on this watch is $15,850. If we're buying it for $14,500 and selling it to you for $16,000, that shows you how slim the margins are on these watches. And again, these watches, I'm specifically referring to Rolex because Rolex is probably the most in-demand brand, the most notable brand, the most, the brand that has the most exposure and the most recognition in the world, and everybody wants one. Moving on to something a little bit, more serious. This is the Patek Philippe Perpetual Calendar 5320G. This specific one is a complete model, dated 2021. Retail price on this watch is $97,000. We are being offered this watch for $64,000, while the current market rate on this watch is $75,000. Given the fact that this is a perpetual calendar, the service would cost us a little bit more. Make sure that everything works. Make sure it's completely, examined and inspected, and that everything is up to par. Buying it for $64,000, putting it through the service, putting it through processing. If we sell it for $75,000, 3% credit card fees if somebody pays with a credit card. Again, margins are not really there. Definitely more than Rolex, but this watch is also a little bit more difficult to sell. Not a little bit. It might be a lot more difficult to sell than a typical $20,000, $30,000 Rolex. Not just because of the price point, but more because this is so specific. Now, you would assume this is kind of like a dress watch. It has a leather band. This is not your everyday beater, and it takes a special type of customer to buy this watch. Next one is another one that's, more specific. The Breitling Chronomat reference RB0134. Now, we don't deal with Breitlings that often, but we do get them every once in a while. This one is being offered to us at $13,500. It is brand new, complete, has everything. Retail price on this watch is $22,000. Current market price on this watch is $17,000. So again, I know watch chart is showing $14,000. I looked, I checked, I did the research. I could not find one for $14,000 for a brand new one that is complete. So $13,500, we'd be selling it for approximately $17,000. Again, a tougher watch to find a customer for. How many, Breitling customers out there are buying $17,000 watches? Your average Breitling customer is below $10,000. This would probably sit with us for a while, and our margin would, drop significantly after our 60-day mark. Next one we have is a Rolex Submariner 124060. Okay, this is the standard no-date Rolex sub. Comes watch and papers, no box. This is a very much in demand model. People love it, and people specifically love the no dates because they're so clean. Retail price on this watch is $9,100. Average market price for this watch is $13,000. Think about it. We would be buying it for $12,000. It's 2022. It's a slider. Doesn't need any aesthetic work. Very likely does not need any service. So we would have our in-house watchmaker, just glance at it, make sure everything is fine, make sure it's not a Frankenstein, make sure it's all legitimately how it should be. And then we would process it with the shipping. We would be lucky if we made $500 on this watch. But they move. We get it. Second later, it's gone. So it's not something that would sit here long. So if you think about it, if we just bring it in, do what we got to do, and make $500 on it, it's worth it, especially if it doesn't take us too long. Next one I have, Rolex Day-Date 228238A. Now, the A part makes it a little bit more difficult to find because this one has the diamond markers. This one has the baguette hour markers, which is a little bit more rare than obviously just the Roman numerals or Arabic or anything, like that. This watch was offered to us at $45,500. It is new. It is complete. Retail price on it is $43,000. So it's being offered to us at retail plus tax, maybe a tiny bit of a margin on there. And the average market price for this watch is $48,000. Again, $45,500 is what we would pay for it. We'd sell it to you for approximately $48,000, leaving our profit margin at, around $2,500 if we're lucky after shipping, after processing, after inspection, after credit card fees. If somebody's paying credit card, we'd be at between $1,500 to $2,000 on a $45,000 investment. This is another example of why, people are constantly saying, you're ripping off customers on a secondary market. We are not. We are taking a product that we are putting our name and our credibility behind, our reputation behind, and we are saying, here's a watch. We bought it for $45,500. We're selling it to you for $48,000, and you never have to worry about it being inauthentic or a counterfeit, and comes with a 2-year warranty of its parts, so that you are paying, $3,000 above retail, not including tax, for this, and to have it on your wrist today rather than signing up to a wait list and having to wait for a couple of years to actually get this watch. Now, it might be shorter wait list because these might not require that much of a wait time, but they could. Last one I have on here, and again, I wanted to change it up a little bit and introduce a couple of different brands, is the Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon with the Meteorite dial. This is probably my favorite Seamaster. This one is being offered to us for $10,000. It is complete. It comes in pre-owned condition, which means a little bit of wear, nothing crazy. Would probably need a little bit of aesthetic work, but there's not much that we can do to it because of, the PVD coating. It's not like we're going to recoat it, or maybe it's ceramic. I'm not really sure what the exterior of that watch is. I never really, dealt with it or held it or even examined it, but I love the way it looks because of that Meteorite dial. Retail price on this watch is $15,800, and the average market price for this watch right now is about $13,000. So we are being offered this watch obviously below retail. We're selling it below retail. And this is one of these watches that, you just have to love it. If this is a watch that you want, you're not buying it for resale value. You're not buying it for investment. You're buying it because you're a fan of this watch. If you like this episode, if you like this information, let me know what you'd like to see next. Make sure to subscribe, comment, leave a review if you're listening to the podcast. I want to know which watches specifically you want me to go through, and I'll get you the wholesale prices on them. Otherwise, see you next time on the Gray Market Podcast.